is going okay, and hopefully everything will go smooth from here on out. And, well, I don't have much else. I got to clean up my bomb shelter down there. Man, I've been down there tinkering and pittering and puttering, and I just made a mess. And then Judy comes down, and I got little pieces of insulation on the floor, little pieces of plastic and wire, and then she gives me that there bad eye. Then I know it's time to get the shop back in there and start sweeping up. So maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe tomorrow, or the day after, or next week, or whenever she gives me that bad eye again. Well, I got somebody coming looking at my couch tomorrow, so I'll do it in the afternoon. But anyway, don't have much else, but I hope you got my email there, Willard. Yeah, we'll come up with something here one of these days. John gets back in the saddle and everything, and we get everything straightened around here. It'll be winter pretty soon. I'll have plenty of time to go down there and work on my daughters and maybe build some more antennas, maybe. We'll see. WB8VMW. Over to you, Willard.
WB8VMW and the group W8WDH. Okay, yeah, Jim, I did get your email. And I went, well, first thing, John, welcome back. I'm glad you're doing better. You know, hospital is the only place where people go when they're sick. You're glad when you're well you can get out of there. That's for sure. And yeah, I got your email, Jim, and you might reconsider, or if we need to do some other stuff, maybe some other materials that we might investigate. But I understand, and we'll take care of that. I don't have much else to say today. Like I said, I read the papers and watched the television, got to see Stargate, and Holly's been staying with me all day. He comes in the computer room if I'm in the computer room, or he lays on the floor in front of me or near me when we're watching television. So we take care of each other, I guess. So I guess I'll just say 7-3, and everybody have a good night, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow night. This is W8WDH Clear. 7-3. Your turn, Barry.
Yeah, maybe his daughter called.
W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Call the Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2,393 with a release date of Friday, September 8th, 2023 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The retail giant Radio Shack is poised for a U.S. comeback. NASA will test transmissions using laser light, and hams in Alabama mark a painful moment in American history. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2,393 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Union, Kentucky, here's Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
We begin this week with news that many hams around the United States have been waiting forever to hear. The beloved electronics retailer Radio Shack is returning to the U.S. marketplace under new ownership. The Radio Shack name is coming back from a difficult history that ended in its pervasive presence with more than 5,000 locations around the U.S. The company filed for bankruptcy twice under its previous ownership, and only a handful of its franchised locations were able to maintain a market presence. Now the brand's largest franchisee, the Unicomer Group, based in El Salvador, has acquired the company. Although they aren't sharing much yet about their plans, the Vice President of Franchises, Rudy Simon, released a statement saying, quote, "This acquisition will allow us to start another phase of growth and innovation in the shopping experience with the latest technology," end quote. Stay tuned. If you've ever found yourself answering the question, ham radio, do people still do that? The next story from Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF, will strike a familiar chord with you.
Organizers in India called it an amateur radio awareness program, and as more than 250 attendees in West Bengal, India soon found out, amateur radio is thriving and doing good work to help society. Held on the 1st of September at the Ramakrishna Mission School on the west bank of the Hooghly River, the session devoted itself to the science and technology that brings amateur radio alive on the air. The program also touched on the critical role ham radio plays during a disaster or acting as an informal social service agency, assisting families and communities in crisis. This non-technical portion of the presentation is particularly relevant to those at the mission, where the school focuses on humanitarian work in the community. Members of the West Bengal Radio Club, which has a long history of community service work with amateur radio communication, led the program. This is Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF.
The U.S. Space Agency is ready to shed new light on ways to supplement RF systems for communication. In this case, that light is laser light, and the experiment is testing higher bandwidth data transfer. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us up to date.
The mission is not NASA's first test of using optical communication technology instead of RF to transmit data. But it is an important move in making the technology part of regular space missions. A terminal known as Illuma-T will arrive on the International Space Station via a SpaceX commercial resupply mission where, once installed, it will send laser light through an optical telescope to the Laser Communication Relay Demonstration, or LCRD. The LCRD is on board a U.S. Defense Department satellite in a geosynchronous orbit 22,000 miles from Earth. It is capable of transmitting data, pictures, and video at a rate of 1.2 gigabits per second, a rate comparable to some optical fiber internet connections. The LCRD has been on the satellite where it has been beaming data to ground stations in Hawaii and California. NASA believes a successful demonstration of optical communications will provide an enhanced way to transfer information and one day perhaps spoken communications from the ISS through a smaller, lighter system that also requires less power. This is Kent Peterson, KC0, DGY.
In the U.S., emergency communicators are looking back on lessons learned from Hurricane Idalia as we hear from Randy Sly, W4XJ.
Just like winter snowflakes, no two hurricanes are alike, depending on the size, wind speed, rainfall, and travel speed. So activations by emergency personnel, including amateur radio operators, have to be flexible. Last week's Hurricane Idalia is a good case in point. Bobby Graves, KB5HAV, manager of Hurricane WatchNet, told AR Newsline, going into Idalia, knowing this was going to be a fast-moving hurricane, we did our best to line up well ahead of projected landfall, reporting stations, storm shelters, and emergency operations centers. We were expecting the storm to remain at least a Category 1 hurricane in South Carolina. After it was downgraded to a tropical storm, we changed gears and began calling for any post-storm reports. One serious issue involved a very strong wide signal causing interference on the upper end of 20 meters. The FCC later confirmed that it was over-the-horizon radar that originated outside the U.S. and was not considered intentional. Areas in northern Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina were also activated. HF operations linked counties to the state EOC in Florida, and much of the emergency communications activity took place through the linked UHF repeaters of the Florida statewide amateur radio network. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
An amateur radio activation in Birmingham, Alabama will be recalling a painful history lesson that rocked the United States 60 years ago. The call sign K0MIK will be on the air on September 15th and 16th from the Birmingham Civil Rights National Monument in Kelly Ingram Park, which has the POTA designation K3602. The park is across the street from the 16th Street Baptist Church, where on September 15th, 1963, while Sunday school children inside were hearing a lesson in A Love That Forgives, the church was bombed. 4 young women died that day. Their pictures are on the monument that stands facing the church. K0MIK is the call sign of the OMIC Amateur Radio Association, an international organization that is the largest predominantly black amateur radio association in the U.S. The activation will be primarily on 40, 20, 17, and 15 meters using CW sideband plus via satellites. Tom Gaines, KB5FHK, told Newsline that anyone living in or visiting the Birmingham area on those days is welcome to stop by the activation, which is also a part of OMIC's ongoing POTA challenge. There's still time to get early bird admittance if you're attending the Radio Society of Great Britain's annual convention, as we hear from Jeremy Boot, G4 in JH.
If you haven't already booked your attendance at the Radio Society of Great Britain's convention next month, you still have a few days to take advantage of early bird pricing. Convention organizers have extended the deadline for special pricing to the 14th of September. Although experts will be presenting on a variety of topics from RF electrical interference to radio astronomy, the keynote speaker is certain to draw most of the attention. He is Colonel John Doody, a retired officer of the UK Royal Corps of Signals. He'll share his vast knowledge on cryptography, cybersecurity, and information assurance. The convention will take place at Kent Hill Park Conference Centre in Milton Keynes from the 13th to the 15th of October. Additional details are available at rsgb.org/convention. I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Hams with disabilities who have received encouragement and training through the Courage Handyham program have something to celebrate this month, and Kevin Trotman, N5 PRE, tells us why.
For 56 years, the Courage Handyham program has worked with people who have disabilities, encouraging them to work toward their goal of becoming a licensed radio amateur. The special event call signs W0ZSW and W0EQO will be on the air Monday, September the 11th, in a 5-hour special event QSO party that is part of this year's Handyham Radio Camp. The operators will be marking the program's 56th anniversary by calling QRZ using CW and SSB on 10, 15, 20, and 40 meters. The hours of the QSO party will be from 1600 to 2100 UTC. The call sign W0ZSW was originally assigned to Rochester, Minnesota amateur Ned Carmen, who helped bring the Handycam program into being based on his work in a clinic with individuals who had severe physical disabilities. The call sign W0EQO is assigned to the program's Camp Courage North station, which was originally used by the first Handycam station that provided remote HF access to amateurs who had no other way of getting on the air. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WW8GM repeater of the General Motors Amateur Radio Club in Detroit, Michigan on Saturdays at 9 p.m. local time. First class of young participants in a program based at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory are advancing as hams. CellMB KB3TZD has those details.
The program, known as Exploring the Electromagnetic Spectrum with Amateur Radio, has inspired its first group of young participants to explore something else following 20 weeks of instruction at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. They're planning to upgrade their technician licenses to general. They are also joining various amateur radio clubs as well as the ARRL and engaging with a virtual amateur radio club on Discord. The observatory launched this 2-year program for high school and college-age students with a grant from Amateur Radio Digital Communications to provide an educational outreach to members of the Indigenous, people of color, and LGBTQIA communities. The observatory is preparing to receive its next group of students, a total of 18 participants from across the United States. As with the first group, those running the program are hoping the curriculum with its hands-on activities can be the entry point for many of the students toward later careers in the STEM fields. And of course, a window into the rewards of being an amateur radio operator. This is CellMB KB3TZD.
In Europe, an amateur radio activation is honoring the legacy of a once popular British pirate broadcast station. Jeremy Boot, G4NGH, brings us that story.
Long before the British pirates' broadcast station Radio Caroline took to the airwaves from a boat off the Essex coast, there was Radio Luxembourg. Much to the displeasure of the BBC, the English language service was launched 90 years ago and became one of Europe's most popular stations. According to some reports, the long and medium wave broadcast of its programs and its British presenters peaked at an estimated 78 million daily listeners before Radio Luxembourg went off the air in December of 1991. Since July, amateur radio operators and shortwave listeners are hearing Radio Luxembourg again, this time symbolically with a call sign LX90 RTL. The station is on the air until the end of this year. Various ham radio operators throughout Luxembourg are calling QRZ to mark the anniversary of that first broadcast. They can be heard on the HF bands using CWSSB and the digital modes. They can also be contacted via satellite. The special event radio operators have been carefully listening to, especially when the QSOs trigger moments of nostalgia. The operators write on the station's page on QRZ.com, quote, "Many of you told us about your memories of a great time listening to Radio Luxembourg, especially the great entertainment with the best music on the air over the years," end quote. The DARC Bureau will confirm all QSOs automatically, and logs are being uploaded to Club Log, Logbook of the World, and EQSL. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
If you have expertise in engineering, technology, or other areas relevant to radio, there may be a seat for you on an FCC advisory body. Interested? Patrick Clark, KATAC, explains how to apply. If you work in broadcasting or have a background in science, engineering, or technology, you may be interested in becoming a member of the FCC's Technological Advisory Council. The TAC provides guidance to the Commission and looks into issues that could have an impact on emerging technologies. The Council's input is expected to help in the creation of informed policies. Members will be expected to be able to weigh in on such concerns as spectrum sharing techniques, 5G, and artificial intelligence. The term lasts 2 years, and there are 4 council meetings a year, which are one-day sessions. For other details or to submit a nomination, send an email to tac@fcc.gov. Nominations are received until the 22nd of September. The Council expects to meet in December. This is Patrick Clark, KATAC. The inaugural Invictus Games were held in Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in London in 2014 as an international celebration of wounded members of the military marking a triumph over their various challenges. This year the games are taking place in the German city of Dusseldorf, co-hosted by the German Federal Armed Forces. As veterans and serving members of the military compete in archery, cycling, powerlifting, swimming, and other activities, amateur radio is also playing a big role in the arena. As the games enter their second week, special event station DQ23IVG continues to be on the air, making contact to celebrate this triumph of the human spirit. More than 500 competitors have arrived from 21 nations and are competing in 10 disciplines. To recognize their achievements, hams are calling QRZ until the 16th of September. See QRZ.com for additional information. In the world of DX, listen for Torsten DL4APJ and Udo DL2AQI operating as MD/DL4APJ and MD/DL2AQI respectively from the Isle of Man, IOTA number EU116 on the 10th through the 19th of September. They will operate using CW sideband in the digital modes on 80 through 10 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Listen for Randall KD8JN/4 operating from Hatteras Island, IOTA number NA067 from the 10th to the 15th of September. He will be using CW and sideband on or around the usual IOTA frequencies, QSL via his home call. Be listening for a team of radio operators from the Rebel DX group who are using the call sign T22T from Tuvalu, IOTA number OC015, from the 21st of September to the 9th of October. The team will be on 160 through 6 meters using sideband and FT8, either in normal or Fox sound mode. Visit the QRZ.com page for T22T for further details. This week's final story looks at something we cannot see. But of course, we're going to look at it anyway. Here's Ralph Squillace, KK6, ITV.
There is beauty in the unseen. Ask any ham radio operator who has sent voice, code, or data into space with the hope that its path finds a receptive, friendly destination. It never fails to engage your imagination when the message arrives, undetected by the unassisted eye. In the U.S., the roadmap of the FCC's frequency allocations is always evolving. One of its most recent printed versions has captivated a New York City ham radio operator, John Keegan, KE3GAN. Early this year, John wrote about a large, colorful poster on his blog, Beautiful Public Data, and called this roadmap, quote, a crazy, beautiful chart, end quote. Indeed, the multicolored poster is a painter's palette of the unseen spectrum from 9 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz. The multicolored poster is produced by the National Telecommunications Information Administration, which, together with the FCC, manages radio frequency assignments for different users, among them aviation, broadcast, satellite, and ham radio. The U.S. government printing office sells it for $6 in U.S. currency. John's blog reports that the chart of frequency allocations is also popular among U.S. lawmakers who pass regulations that affect the spectrum and need to better understand its uses. The latest version of this chart, produced in 2016, is expected to be due for an update soon, according to an NTIA specialist who spoke with John. With changes in technology, it's possible that these many colors of the frequency allocation chart may change again, and like the spectrum itself, it will surely be in ways that are, as yet, unseen. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6 ITV.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Ham Fest or Field Day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. Use the entry form on our website and please follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku. 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second line, and 5 in the third. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily and Barish Nag Biswas VU2 JFA, Beautiful Public Data Blog, Courage Handy Ham, CQ Magazine, David BR, K7DB, 425DX News, FCC, Forbes, Jimmy Earl, WB5MET, NASA, the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, Radio Society of Great Britain, Radio.World, Retail Insight Network, ShortwaveRadio.de, Space.com, The Street, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG in Union, Kentucky, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023. All rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
That don't read the manual. Okay, did you guys get your card for the Cleveland Hamfest announcement? I've already found out people aren't reading the card and finding out how to do things like if you want a table, what do? Read the card. All right, next thing was, I might have forgotten what the next thing was. I was saying that last Monday night I couldn't be on the net because I was visiting my brother in the Columbus area. We met in the middle. He lives in Dayton area. Darn it, I didn't write down the other comment I wanted to say. But I'm glad that my problem here seems to be better south. Back to net from EFHC. Hang on.
discussion about tomorrow's meeting at 10 o'clock. I think I verified it, 10 o'clock a.m. The deal is, I thought we were going to do 10:30, but it was reported by Kevin that it's at 10. So I had to send out an email that said 10. Back to net from AFHC.
AFAC, W8 Victor Mike. Okay, well, we got the meeting time resolved, 10 o'clock at the Fairview Park Library. And unfortunately, I won't be able to go. I have another appointment at 10 o'clock that was scheduled back in January, so I can't very well move that around. But if you guys are done at a certain time and want to head out to dinner, if somebody gives me a call in the appropriate time, we can be glad to join you there. So if we don't hear from anybody, we'll assume everybody's going home to eat. Okay, let's see. At this time, let's go to Bill, NAWS, W8 Victor Mike.
W8GM in the group, NAWS and Judy. Well, I can tell you right now, Tom, I am going to lunch at Canaries. Might be a little early. It might turn out to be breakfast, but we'll be there. So if you want to come, we'll be there. We'll see how many other guys want to come once we get to the meeting, get it over with. And Glenn, you sound excellent now, and that did take care of it. No more static. You got a perfect signal. And let's see. I had something else too, but I can't do. Oh, Mark. Mark over there. What you call the stockyards. We didn't call that the stockyards. I was born and raised on West 65th and Lorraine, and the stockyards were down on between Clark and Store. And many times we had cows running through the neighborhood, with the police chasing them, wanting to shoot them. Oh, it was something funny. Yeah, I spent a lot of time down in the stockyards. We used to go down there and dig in the manure to get redworms so we could go perch fishing down at Edgewater. That's a long time ago. Let's see. I don't know. I guess that's about it for me, Tom. W8GM in the group. Oh, by the way, Melba had a good signal too. W8GM in the group. NHWS and Judy.
NAWS, W8 Victor Mike. Okay, Bill, thanks for checking in. We got one more round, the 73 round. That'll go quickly, I'm certain. Okay, Melba has opted to check out already. Let's go to Sean, KE8RMB, W8 Victor Mike.
W8 Victor Mike, this is Kilo Echo 8, Romeo Mike Victor. I would just like to point out, for the good of the group, and especially to Glenn and HC, that what's listed on the website for the meeting is incorrect. You may be aware. I wasn't intending to attend the meeting per se. In fact, I've never been to you guys' meeting. But I was just checking out the website and noticed the discrepancy between what's on the website listed as 3 p.m. at North Olmsted and what is actually happening. But I'm sure the parties involved are up to date on that. I did have a question.
evening, calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net.
W8VPV. Repeater. PL110.9.
My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators through the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We will start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, and confirming each call. Then I'll correspond with those 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until the activity tapers down. Then I'll go to 1 at a time. If you are a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When I have corresponded with all the check-ins, I will close the net after giving one last call for check-ins, and then after repeating the announcements. We also operate a Band Explorer net at 9:30 p.m. after this net. The approximate frequencies are posted on our webpage, www.cfarc.org, and tonight we will be on 10 meters at approximately 28.340 megahertz. Please join us if you have the equipment. Here are the announcements. Okay, this Wednesday from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. will be CFARC to the field. That will be our activity, but it will not be at the building. It will be in the field. Go to www.cfarc.org. And on the left half of the main page is a chart of activities, and click on CTTF. If you're wanting to operate in the field, then click on activations and notice what parks have been activated, and then go to list of entities and choose an entity that has not been activated, and then that link will have you fill out the form, and it will get sent to a person who is taking the participants. If you choose not to go to an entity and operate, you can also operate from home. and the valid contacts will be home to parks, park to home, and park to park, but not home to home. If you make 5 valid contacts, then and enter your log into us, you will be entered into a random drawing with a possibility of winning a prize of a $50 DX Engineering gift certificate. Again, that starts on 4:30 this coming Wednesday and runs till 7:30. If you want to know what frequencies and what bands and frequencies and modes on that same page where the activations and all that were, scroll down a little bit and there's a link there, what Anthony calls the cheat sheet. That has all the bands, frequencies, and modes that we will be doing during the CTTF. Okay, then on September 27th that will be our business meeting, and that will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard. Get to the parking lot, which is on 2nd Street, south of Broad Boulevard. That meeting will also be on Zoom. Again, that starts at 7:30 p.m. This coming Thursday, September 14th, is a volunteer exam session at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. Go to www.cfarc.org, click on the word education up the top, and that will open up a page where you scroll down a little bit, and in the middle is a big yellow button where you can register for the exam. You need to pre-register, and you need to have your FRN. There is no fee for the exam at the exam site because it is a Laurel exam. So if you know somebody, let them know that there's an exam if they've have been interested in maybe getting their license or an upgrade to a higher level license. Again, that's this Thursday. The test starts at 6:30 p.m. at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. You can enter from 3rd Street or 2nd Street, and it's in the Sutliff room. So that's the story on the volunteer exam session. That's all that I have in the way of announcements. Let's see here. So, are there any officers or members who have an announcement of general interest to the club?
K8ZT.
K8ZT, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Go ahead.
Just a couple quick reminders. Thank you for bringing up the Cuyahoga Falls to the field. If you don't want to set up in the field, you can simply take your mobile with your 2-meter 440 or whatever radio and park in one of the parking lots for a number of the bike trailheads, hike trailheads. There's over 38 spots around Summit County that you can simply pull in and operate during the CTTF. So there's plenty of opportunities, or you can come out and operate at by setting up completely your station in one of the parks. If you're looking and you'd like to operate in the park and you really don't know what to do, there's a couple people that'd be happy to have you. I'd be happy to have someone with me, and I know that the other people, if you look on the registration list, would be also happy to have you come out and observe how we do things. So again, that's CCTF. one other thing, starting October 8th, we'll be having our technician class licenses. There's information on the website for that, and let your friends and family know about that. Also on the CTTF, I forgot to mention, there's a green button right on the top of the page you can click to get to all the CTTF information. This is KCT.
Thanks, Anthony. Yes, I see that green button. Okay, very good. Thanks for that information. I have you checked in. Is there anybody else who has any information?
Charlie 8 X-ray Oscar.
AC8XO, Vince, go ahead.
Thank you, John. Newsletter is out. Everyone should know that if they get the emails. The important thing I wanted to relay tonight is that this month, September 30th, is the immediate deadline for those that would like to provide me with articles for the newsletter. I am leaving the country. I'm not saying where I'm going, but I am leaving the country for the month of October. And because of that, October 1st, when the newsletter is ready, I will post it. That's the end of the story. So if you have something you want to provide, we'll break for time. If you have something you want to provide, and the two providers know who they are, except one of them is at the PCARS meeting, you have until September 30th to provide that. Other than that, that's all I have, John. AC8XO, back to net.
Okay, Vince, thanks. You hear that, people? Vince is leaving the country, so get your articles into him by September 30th. Okay, I think there was somebody else that had some information also. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Go ahead. Okay, maybe it got covered in those. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Let me acknowledge each one at a time.
KD8YAX.
KD8YAX, I have you, Forrest. Another one.
W8DIS, in and out.
W8DIS, Bill, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
N8NH, Mark and Akron, in and out.
N8NH, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73. Have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
KA8BSA.
KA8BSA. Thanks, Keith. Let's see. Another check-in, please.
W8EZT.
W8EZT, I have you. And one more check-in.
KPU, John, let me go in and out here tonight.
Okay, Larry, K8PU, I have you in and out, so let's have one more.
WA8WFX.
WA8WFX, I have you, Floyd. Okay, thanks. So that takes us up to Forrest, KD8YAX. Go ahead with your comment, Floyd, or Forrest.
I probably should have said in and out because I'm just listening.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, I got you here, so one for the numbers there. Thanks. 73, have a good evening. Let's see, next was, Bill.
WADIS was in and out, N8NH was in and out. So next is Keith, KA8BSA. Go ahead, Keith, with your comments.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yes, I'm still in existence. This is KA8BSA. One other thing that I didn't get in there in time for announcements, the Manitowoc Centennial is coming up 22nd and 23rd. Not sure how I can get people in there, but give me a call on my cell phone. I think it's listed in the roster. And if you want to help out, thank you. KA8BSA.
Okay, you hear that, people? Keith needs people for the Manitowoc event there. That's on September 22nd and 23rd. So go to the roster and give him a call. That's KA8BSA. Thanks, Keith. Let's see. So next was Frank, W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Evening, John. Everybody out there. John, your audio is way almost overloaded. I'd call it contest mode. Almost unpleasant to hear. Very piercing. I don't know if you were still set up for the W8 or W1AW event or what, but audio is really cranking in there. Anyway, you don't have a lot to add tonight. Keith, that was a good article for the newsletter. That's why we do the newsletter, is to kind of get general information out about that. I forgot all about it until you mentioned it. I'll have to go in and see if my calendar is still open at that point. But other than that, don't have a lot to say. So with that, we'll hand it back to you and catch you on the band exploration net tonight. W8EZT, back to net.
Okay, Frank. Yeah, I had that microphone gain turned up for the there was a September ARRL VHF contest, and I was not making many contacts, so I turned that up. I guess it helped a little bit, but yeah, like you said, contest mode. Oh, and regarding this automatic tuner, I brought it in, and I when I was making that manual tuning box for my shunt-fed tower, I had wound a coil that was very close to the same characteristics as that shunt-fed tower, and so I connected that up to this, and it does work, but it can't tune it. It can't come to a resolution there. It starts working like crazy, and then it just stops without making a good SWR. So I might have to add a capacitor out there at that base that would allow it to at least tune that lowest frequency.
Okay, yeah, that could very well be. I don't know if you have one of those nano VNAs or the small vector network analyzers, but you might go to your coax feed line and sweep that around the frequency you want to operate and see if you have anything reasonable to begin with. And that'll at least give you an idea of what direction you need to take it. But very good. By all means, keep me interested. I just dug an automatic antenna tuner out, one of those AH4s. I'll probably be using that Wednesday for the CFARC to the Field event. I'm working on stuff for that now. So, all right, very good. Please keep me posted. And with that, we'll hand it back to you, see who else is out there. W8EZT, back to net.
Well, one comment. Let's see. The AH4 only works with an ICOM radio, right?
Yeah, you got to rig. You can make it work with others, but you got to rig up a control box to give it some signals. But I have a 706 Mark IIG that I'll be using.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Okay, so I'll be, I hope to hear you on the Band Explorer net there, starting at 9:30. Okay, so let's see, next is, Larry was KAPU was in and out, so bottom of the list is Floyd, WA8WFX. Go ahead, Floyd, with your comments.
Oh, good evening to everybody. I just wanted to pop in and say hello. I hadn't checked in for a while, and I was in the office / shack tonight, so I thought I'd turn this on and give a listen. But not too much to say. Just hello to everybody, and it'd be good to get together with you again all soon. WA8WFX.
Okay, that's not the Pennsylvania one, so they would be 131.8, so I guess that's Michigan there. Okay, very good, Floyd. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for more check-ins. Let me acknowledge you one at a time.
KE8HJB.
KE8HJB. Good evening, Dave. Are you in or in and out?
I'm in and out tonight, thanks.
Okay, Dave, I have you in and out. Thanks. Another check-in, please.
HMS.
Okay, I got Steve here, K8HMS, and then I didn't get the whole call sign there, but he's in and out. So thanks for checking in and out. 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
KFAG, Brian and Norton, in and out.
KFAG, Brian, thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. I have you in and out. Another check-in, please. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
88 KVI, in and out, have to go scratch a beat.
Okay, there was a double there, but I got KE8 KVI. Has to scratch a beagle there, in and out. And then who was in there along with Ron?
KE8ULA, Leo.
KE8ULA, Leo, one of the several that's going to operate Seafork to the field. Thanks. We'll get back with you in a moment. Let's see. So one more check-in, please.
WB8CXO.
WB8CXO. Okay, Mike. We'll get back with you. Okay, so let's see who we had there. Okay, Steve, K8HMS. Go ahead, Steve, with your comments.
Yeah, WAVPV in the net, K8HMS. Yeah, hello, John. Thanks for doing the net here on the 440 side, I think, yeah. So, yep, just want to say good evening. Not much going on, just been working the Route 66 special event this week, so it's one of my big things to do since I drove it years ago. Anyway, that's about it, and I don't know, you can let me know where well, you know what I mean. The other thing is at 9:30, I'll see if I can check in. Back to you, KHMS.
Okay, Steve, this evening it's on 10 meters, 28.340 megahertz, plus or minus QRM. Thanks for checking in and hope to hear you on 10 meters. Okay, let's see. Next was, let's see, that I think was Joe in Stowe. Let me see here. Well, I don't know if he's in Stowe, but KE8VQX, I think, is who that was. In and out. Let's see. So next is Leo, KE8ULA. Go ahead, Leo, with your comments.
Thanks, John. Good evening, everybody. Nothing going on here today. Just another day at work for me. I have two newbie questions, beginner questions. One's about Park to the field. So this is a beginner question. So I'm going to be operating two bands, VHF, UHF. So let's say, can I make contact an operator at a park on VHF, and then if I contact the same operator, same park, on UHF, does that count as two contacts? That's my beginner question. The other one is, how do I get my email on the email list? I haven't been able to figure that one out. That's all I got. KE8ULA, back to the net.
Yeah, that would be two contacts. And which email list are you trying to get on?
That's a good question. I didn't know there was more than one email list, John. Yeah, I guess I just heard you guys talking about the email list, and just thought that might be something I might want to hop onto. Yeah, so to answer your question, I didn't know there was more than one email list. KE8ULA, back to the net.
Well, there's the club roster. Are you a member?
Roger that. Yeah, that's affirmative, John. I am a dues-paying member. KE8ULA.
Well, you should be on there. Let me look. Let's stand by for a moment.
Copy that.
This is W8EZT with what I think this is a correction. I might have misheard this myself. Tonight's band exploration net is 10 meters. It's 28.360 megahertz. I believe I heard John say 28.340, but it is 360. At least that's what our calendar says. That's all I have. W8EZT, back to net.
Oh, that's right, Frank. Yeah, this is WO3X at the mic. It's 28.360. 28.340 is the net I check into on Tuesday evenings at 9:30. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, this is WO3X at the mic for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net. Okay, Leo, there is no email in the roster for you, so I guess that's what's going on. So send an email to, I'll give you, send an email to Anthony. Hold on. Well, he has KHZT at AORL.net. So I don't know if that's most appropriate one. Or you could use the email that he has in the CTTF, and mention that your email's not on the roster. Over.
This is KE8ULA. Yeah, copy that. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Yeah, I will email K8ZT Anthony at the CFARC email address. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. KE8ULA, back to the net.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Glad I was able to find that out for you. Okay, so have a good evening there, 73. Next is Mike, WB8CXO. Go ahead, Mike, with your comments.
Thank you, John, from WB8CXO. Good evening, everybody. Also, thanks to John for running the net tonight. Nothing earth-shattering. Recovering from the Findlay Ham Fest. It was their 81st Ham Fest. The weather was fantastic. Plenty of goodies there to buy. And we talked to a lot of great people, which is the best part. Other than that, everybody have a great week from WB8CXO.
Okay, Mike, very good. Yeah, I managed to attend that, and my wife came with me because we were geocaching and on the way, and wanted to get geocaches in 2 of the counties on the route. So we were in Huron County, and then the Hamfest is in Hancock County, and we got all the other counties in between there. So that's why the wife came along, but she said she had a real good time there, and over by the not far from the building. She was a little bit west of the building there for a while, corresponding with some of the people, and had a good time. Okay, thanks for checking in, Mike. And so that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for check-ins.
KA8WTK.
KA8WTK. It sounds like the action slowed down here a little bit, so we'll go one at a time. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments.
W8VPV, KA8WTK. Evening, John, and everybody out there listening tonight. Not much went on this week. Grass started growing again. I've never had to rake so much grass as I have this year. It makes me think I might get a mower with a catcher. But radio-wise, working on the audio for that Kenwood. I think I got that straightened out. We'll find out in a couple days. I've kind of shoved it aside. You work on something for too long, you get stale. And it seems to clear your mind to get away from it. So we're going to do a little work tomorrow on the railroad. And rain or no rain, there's some things that need repaired. So other than that, not much going on. Back to net. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, I have a Yaesu FTDX 5000 MP that the cat or whatever connector, some of the leads of traces did not make it to where they're supposed to go. It's as if that connector was an afterthought, and they just had it. They used a DB9 that had wires built into it, and they just tacked them onto the circuit board, and with no support, no mechanical support on that DB9, so that did not work out well, so that connector was not working. So yeah, I have to get back to that. That's been over on the bench there a while. And I have the wire that I can use. Okay, so thanks for checking in, Bill. 73, and maybe we'll hear you on 10 meters on 28.360 megahertz. Okay, this is WO3X at the mic for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net. Looking for contacts.
KE8YTG.
AB8OU.
November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KE8TQR.
Okay, net standby. I got KE8YTG, AB8OU, N8ACP, KE8TQR, and one more.
Kilo Echo 8 Whiskey Golf Delta.
KE8WGD. Okay, let's see, so let's go to KE8YTG. Go ahead with your comments.
Yes, sir. This is Steve from Stowe. I just wanted to say good evening, in and out. KE8YTG, back to the net.
Okay, Steve, thanks for checking in. All check-ins are appreciated. So 73, and have a good evening. Next was Zeke, AB8OU. Go ahead, Zeke, with your comments.
AB8OU. Good evening, John and everyone. Not much in the way of comments. I'm in a Zoom meeting, so I'll get back to that. Spent a little time on FT8 up on 10 and 12 meters this afternoon. Most operating I've done this month. Anyway, everyone have a good week, AB8OU.
Okay, Zeke, very good. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next was Chris, N8ACP. Go ahead, Chris, with your comments.
Good evening there, John. Thanks for running the net. Good to hear everybody out there, including Frank and yourself and Mike over there in Monroe Falls. Let's see, this weekend had a lot of fun doing a bit of work, not too much. I'm not going to turn in a winning score or anything, but the Worked All Europe contest was going on. I worked about 20 contacts in probably about 15 different countries, and the bands were hopping from 40 meters all the way up to 10. Worked Italy on 10 meters yesterday, so that wasn't too bad. And I could not get a new one. Everybody, they were all countries I'd worked before, single side band, but I could hear Oman Alpha 44 Alpha, I think, just clear as a bell, and he could never hear me. I always got runner over. He had a pretty good pileup going most of the time, so maybe next time we'll see. But that'll probably have to wait until I tear down my antennas. I'm moving about 4 minutes down the road, I think. I'll wait to see if the house is ready. It might be next month, but eventually gonna have to go here. So, but not too far. That's all the news from me. W8VPV from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Okay, Chris. Hopefully the new house will be ready in time there, and you can get your equipment up and running in short order. So 73 there, have a good evening, and we'll talk with you some other time there. Next was, let's see, Keith, KE8TQR. Go ahead with your comments.
tonight, John. Thanks for taking my check-in, and good evening to everyone else out there checking in or maybe just listening. Thanks for running the net tonight. And just a couple comments. I worked on my 6-meter beam this weekend, put it all together. Hopefully I'll get it up temporarily on my mast pole before I can put it on the tower. I still got a little testing to do on it to make sure that it's adjusted correctly, so when I get it up there, I'll be able to do something. It won't move being on the mast pole. I won't move until I get it up on the tower. But hopefully I'll point it in a direction that I can do something on HF. That'll be the first antenna I'll be able to do HF on. Other than that, I had a great day today. Nice weather, and hopefully we got a little bit of rain coming in out here. So anyway, with that, I just hope everyone had a great Monday. Have a great evening, and the rest of the week goes fine as well. So I'll send this back to you at Net Control and just wish everyone a 73 KE8TQR.
Okay, Keith, very good. So I hope you have success with that antenna there and choose a direction that you get the, hopefully the most contacts with that temporary setup. So 73 and have a good evening. Okay, last on the list here is KE8WGD. Greg, go ahead with your comments.
Hi, not much tonight. I'm just trying a new antenna on the HT to see if I can get into the repeater a little bit better. Receive sounds a lot better. I don't know if it sounds good on your end.
Oh, it sounds real good. I'm not sure how it was before, but it's very good this evening.
That's good to hear. I usually have trouble getting in on UHF, but it seems like this is doing a lot better. So thanks, and back to the net. 73, everyone.
Okay, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for check-ins.
Shot John, K8BSA.
Go ahead, Keith. KA8BSA.
Okay, I was looking on the roster there. I see my home phone numbers on it, which we barely answer. So my cell phone to get a hold of me is 330-780-8834. Once again, that's 330-780-8834.
Okay, Keith, I'll repeat that when I do the announcements there at the end of the net. So, very good. Thanks for letting us know that. Okay, so let's see. Are there any other check-ins? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for check-ins for the VHF UHF net. Stand by. KA8BSA, what were the dates on that event there that you need people for?
It is the 22nd and 23rd of this month.
22nd and 23rd of September?
QSL.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking for my calendar, but I couldn't find it in time. Okay, thanks Okay, so this is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, looking for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any, I'll repeat the announcements. Okay, as we just heard, Keith, KA8BSA, needs people for Manitalk event there on September 22nd and 23rd, and so his cell phone number is 330-780-8834. That's 330-780-8834. Give him a call if you can help him out. Okay, let's see. So October 8th starts the technician license class. Pre-register for that so that you can get the proper book there. Just go to www.cfarc.org and go to click on education up at the top, and that will open up the page for education. And you can see the registration for the class there. Okay, this Wednesday from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. is CTTF, that's CFARC to the Field. Like Anthony mentioned, you can just take your handheld radio and go to one of the entities and operate from there, and make contacts, make sure you can register that entity, and then enter your log with at least 5 check-ins and be entered into the random drawing for a $50 DX Engineering gift certificate. And like Anthony mentioned, there's now a green bar across the top of our page, www.cfarc.org, and CTTF is right in there, so just click on that CTTF and take a look at that. And maybe we'll hear you on Wednesday. I'm going to be in Wood Hollow, and I'll be operating all the bands that are in that event. Again, that's this Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Now, usually the second Wednesday of a month is our business meeting, but because the sunset gets earlier quickly in September, we would lose 20 minutes of daylight if we waited till the fourth Wednesday to have this CTTF. So instead, our business meeting will be on the fourth Wednesday. That's September 27th. It will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, and starts at 7:30, and it will also be on Zoom. The parking lot for the church is on 2nd Street, south of Broad Boulevard. Okay, I think I mentioned the technician license class. It's, like I said, it starts on October 8th, so sign up for that ahead of time so you can get the book in time for the first class. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. The band exploration net will be on 10 meters this evening, and the frequency will be 28.360 megahertz, upper sideband. So we'll look for you there. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins.
Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Delta Tango.
KE8 YTD. Go ahead with your comments.
That's YDT Yankee Delta Tango. Brian in Akron. I feel like a bad club member because I never check into nets and go to meetings. Work kind of gets in the way of a lot of that and a lot of the other ham activities. So I just want to check in, say, hey, I'm still here. And with that, I'll throw it back. Thanks, John. 7-3.
Okay, very good, Brian. Yeah, I had it written down here correctly. So, okay, thanks for checking in, Brian. Good to hear from you. And 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with WO3X, John at the mic. Last call for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, none heard. So in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John, and my call is WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 24 check-ins counting myself and return the repeater to normal customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:22 p.m. local time. 7-3.
Port. Link off. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. PL110.9.
Okay, very good. Good evening, calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night Band Explorer Net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep us updated about club happenings. This Band Explorer Net meets every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by the VHF-UHF Net at 8:30 and Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. Go to the www.cfarc.org calendar to see what band this net will be on. It's on a different band every Monday evening. When checking in, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Also, let me know if you have any comments or traffic for the net, or if you're checking in and out. I will start with announcements and then call for officers or members who have further information for the net. When all have checked in, I will repeat the announcements, and then after that I'll give one last call for check-ins and close the net. Here are the announcements. The next regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be an in-person meeting will be on September 27th. But this Wednesday from 4:30 to 7:30 is our CTTF, that's CFARC to the field, which will be an operating activity. Go to our webpage on www.cfarc.org, and there's a green bar across the top, and there's a rectangle there that has inside it CTTF info. Just click on that, and you will be taken to our CTTF page, and take a look through that and get ready to operate there this Wednesday evening from 4:30 to 7:30. Let's see here. Now, Keith, KA8BSA, needs some people to help him with the Manitalk activity on September 22nd and September 23rd. So give Keith a call at 330-780-8834. That's his cell phone. So if you can give Keith a hand with that activity. Again, that's September 22nd and 23rd. 330-780-8834. On September 27th is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club business meeting. It will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard, and the parking lot is on 2nd Street, south of Broad Boulevard. The meeting will start at 7:30, and it will also be on Zoom. So please plan to attend that. On October 8th starts our technician license class. It will be online, and there's no fee. but you need to have the book. So register for it, for that class, so that you can get the book in time for the start of the class. Again, that's October 8th. Again, go to www.cfarc.org and scroll down, click on education, and right there is club classes, and it shows there the license course starts on Sunday. For course information, there's links, and course registration, there's a link. So if you know anybody that's interested in getting their amateur radio license, tell them about it, and then they can attend the class and most likely get their license afterward. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic. Are there any members or officers who have special items for the net? Okay, I guess I covered it all. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for check-ins. KD8YAX, go ahead, Forrest, with your comments. Okay, Forrest, thanks a lot. You have a real good signal here. So thanks for checking in, and have a good evening. 7-3. Okay, another check-in, please.
November 8th, America, Charlie, Papa, NHACP, Chris in Akron, no traffic, 7-3.
Okay, Chris, thanks for checking in. I have you in and out, 73, and have a good evening. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. K8HMS, go ahead, Steve, with your comment. K8HMS, go ahead, Steve, with your comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must have jumped over there or something, but yeah, nothing much different from the 2-meter net, but wanted to hit both of them, and thank you for running both nets. And yeah, still working with the Route 66 special event, and also it's the time for the P4MIA special event that's going on with stations throughout the country. So we, big into the special event. Anyway, back to you. Thanks for doing it, KHMS.
Hey, Steve, for Wednesday there from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m., you can make contacts from home to park, and park to home, but not home to home. So, are you going to operate any on those the bands there? We have 10 meters, 6 meters, 2 meters, and a 440 band. Over.
Yeah, not real sure, John, but I will see what I can do. I'm not sure. I never got into the park stuff. I don't know exactly how it all goes, but yeah, I might jump in there and get a few contacts in since I'm right in the middle of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park here.
Yeah, okay, give it a shot there. If you make 5 valid contacts, then you get put in for a random drawing for a $50 DX Engineering gift certificate. So go ahead, give it a shot. Steve and Jim are going to be in O'Neill Woods. I think that I know Steve is, and I think the other one is Jim. And then, but I'm going to be in Wood Hollow, which is out on Barlow Road, over almost toward Hudson. So you might not be able to hear me. Yeah, give it a shot there. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Maybe I'll hear you on Wednesday. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, asking for check-ins.
Evening, Tom. Please check in. Whiskey 8, Echo Zulu Tango.
W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank, with your comments.
Very good, John. For anybody who's already seen the newsletter, you probably saw the antenna that I have and that I'm using right now. It is working properly again and seems to be getting a signal out. I'm showing almost a 1-to-1 SWR here, so it was those wet leaves that was actually causing the problem. And as I said in the article, the squirrels are not getting through the copper on the hard line I have running out there, the Superplex. So that was a great solution that I had no idea I was going to need until I saw the squirrel damage. All right, that's all I've got. Back to net, W8EZT.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I don't know why the squirrels like to chew up that plastic. Back where we lived in Baldwin there in Pennsylvania, they chewed through the mainline telephone cable that had numerous connections in there, and so numerous conductors, because we were on the end of a dead-end street, but not the last house, and so there were about 10 more houses to go on there. So there were at least 20 conductors, but they chewed into that thing and messed it up. So I'm not sure what they do with what they get there, if they're planning to use the wire for something with their nests. Over.
I actually mentioned this to a friend of mine who's a biologist. He said they have an extremely strong instinct to chew, and will basically chew on just about anything they can if they get the opportunity. I would imagine a lot of the linemen out in that area are probably squirrel hunters on their off hours, trying to keep their workload down. Very good, John. We'll hand it back to you, see who else is out there. W8EZT back to net. And I will be working probably two of the southern Summit County parks this Wednesday. I got to log them or get registered tonight and get everything set up tomorrow. Back to net, W8EZT.
Okay, Frank, very good. Well, maybe I'll hear you, maybe I won't. I'm going to be in Wood Hollow out on Barlow Road, which is east of here a good ways. So, 73, have a good evening, and good luck with your CFARC to the field setup. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, asking for check-ins.
Kilo Alpha 8, Whiskey Tango Kilo.
Okay, I got KA8WTK, and I got AB8OU. We'll get back with you, Zeke, there, so go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, good evening, John. Not much going on since the 2-meter net. Dusted off the old Icom 730 tonight. This is a 30-plus-year-old radio that is still working along just fine. It's amazing. Some of these early transistor ones are still going. Back to net. WAVPV, KA8WTK.
Okay, Bill. Yeah, it's working. I have a real good signal here from you. So, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next is Zeke. Go ahead, Zeke, and I might see if my other antenna works better with you while you're corresponding here. Go ahead, Zeke.
AB8OU. Good evening, everyone. So I'm on a vertical
Okay, Zeke. Yeah, I had a real good copy on you here this evening. Solid S9, sometimes a little over S9. So I tried the other antenna, which sometimes I pick you up better on, but it wasn't as good this evening. So yeah, when I was doing the W1AW/8, when I started N1MM, I was in a hurry and it wanted to install an update, and I should have gone with it because I found out the hard way that there was a problem with the .10001. That's the number in the middle of the version, and I lost all the QSOs that I had in the log, and I was able to recover them using a .trn file that was in there. So I read about how to do it, and I successfully got them back. But my brother, with whom I had made two contacts, one on 160 meters and one on 80 meters, and I told him what had happened, and he reported today that when he updated his N1MM today, and they have a write-up about what was being fixed, and he said that it sounds like the problem that I had is one of the items that they fixed. So you have to watch out for that. What happens is if you go File, Database, Window, and then Log, all the logs are still there, but all the QSOs are gone out of them. Yeah, very good, Zeke. Yeah, when I went to do the ADI file, it came up as a Adobe Acrobat file, but I got a thing off the internet for a little bit, and it fixed it. So I was able to submit the ADI file in a timely manner. Okay, Zeke, very good. 73, have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic, looking for check-ins. KE8YIR. Go ahead, Mark, with your comments.
John, I'm up for comment. Proof flag at half mast today and oil for 11. Other than that, trying to enjoy the rest of the day and the evening. Back to you now.
Very good, Mark. Thanks for your comment there about the flag. So 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. WB8CXO. Go ahead, Mike, with your comments. Yeah, very good, Mike. Where were you located at the Findlay Ham Fest? Okay, very good, Mike. Okay, yeah. Well, next year I might be doing the Portage Lakes Triathlon. I think that ends up being on the same day, but Ken, KA8OAD, was able to get some of the new Aries people to participate in that Portage Lakes Triathlon, so that allowed me to go to that Hamfest, and my wife came with me because we were geocaching on the way and got geocaches in Huron County and Hancock County, so that whole line there now out to Hancock County we have complete. So actually to the next county, which is Wood, we already had Wood County, so that it all worked out well. So and my wife had fun there too. So 73 there, Mike, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Tango Golf.
Okay, let's see. Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Tango Golf, is that right? Is that Steve?
Roger, it is Steve from Stowe. No traffic, 7-3, Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Tango Golf out.
Let's see, let me give a couple requests here using the other antenna. I'm going to switch antennas. Okay, going back to the other antenna. Not hearing any more check-ins, I'll repeat the announcements and then I'll give one last call for check-ins. So, this Wednesday, September 13th, is Cuyahoga Falls to the Field, or Seafork to the Field. So, that goes from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Go to our webpage, www.cfarc.org, and there's a green bar across the top, there's a rectangle that has ZTTF info. Click on that and take a look. Maybe you want to work at a park, or you can work from home and if you make 5 valid contacts, then you can and submit a log. You will be entered into a random drawing for a $50 DX Engineering gift certificate. Okay, that's, like I said, that's this Wednesday. Then on September 27th is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club business meeting. We swapped them because if we would have waited till September 27th to do this CTTF, we would have 20 minutes less daylight. So the business meeting will be on September 27th. It will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard. Parking lot is on 2nd Street, south of Broad Boulevard. And it will also be on Zoom. The meeting starts at 7:30. Okay, then on September 14th is a volunteer exam session at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. Test starts at 6:30 p.m., so get there a little bit early and make sure that you pre-register and that you have your FRN. Okay, then let's see here on September 22nd and 23rd, Keith, KA8BSA, needs some people to help him with a Manitalk event. And so give him a call on his cell phone, 330-780-8834. Okay, I'll repeat that. That's 330-780-8834. And again, that's for an event on September 22nd and 23rd at Manitalk. Let's see what else we have here. Oh yes, October 8th starts the technician license class. It is free and it is online, but you need the book. So go to www.cfarc and let's see, after the let's go back here. In the right now it's a black bar. Under the green bar that has CTTF, there's the word education. Just click on that, and it says club classes on the left side of the page. There's a link for course information and a link for course registration. So take a look at that. If you know anybody that's interested in getting their license, then tell them about this and they can sign up. There's no fee for it. You just need to buy the book. So again, that starts October 8th. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic. Last call for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, none heard. So, in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. As mentioned earlier, this Band Explorer Net meets every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Next week, the frequency will be 40 meters on or about 7.187 megahertz. Please feel free to check in regularly, even if only for a moment. All comments are welcomed and valuable to us. This has been John, and my call is WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 10:02 p.m. local time with 10 check-ins counting myself. 7-3.
Good job, John. Really appreciate doing it. Just so you know, I'll be running amateur radio Newsline next week. Russ is going to be out of town, so I got to go leave a reminder on my calendar right now. But thanks for all you do, John. Appreciate it, and look forward to working you Wednesday during the Seafire to the Field event. WADZT.
Okay, Frank, very good. Thanks. And 7-3, so yeah, I hope to hear you. This is WO3X. I'll be clear.